Hey everybody, we're live. Woo! Okay, so this whole thing started simply because I was Sheilah had commented on a video I saw this morning, and I saw her channel was back up and running.
Yep.
My history with Sheilah goes back to like June of 2023. I've been on YouTube for about 6 months ballpark, and she invited me onto her channel. And it was great. It was early days, and I was just starting to get recognized and getting invited and sort of getting my name out there. And she had a channel. She had built it up nicely, but because of circumstances she might want to go into it, she may not. We'll leave that up to her. She stopped her YouTube. She kind of silenced her YouTube presence for a while, but she's now building back up again. So I wanted to have her on. She was fantastic when I read with her back then, which means she can only be that much better because, like wine, a fine wine improves with age. So I wanted to get her on. So welcome, Sheilah, to our channel.
Well, thank you, and thank you so much for that, David. And also, thank you. It's finally get to meet Gary.
Yeah. Because my relationship with Sheilah goes back about 12 minutes ago.
I thought you were about to talk about your relationship with me going back.
Oh, yeah, yours goes back in utero.
We will change that. So now that we will have a moment to read together. Although it's about getting a little bit late. It's 9 o'clock tonight, so I'm kind of like I get a little tired.
I was just going to ask where in the U.S.
my mouth going again. So, pardon?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you where in the U.S. if you were, East Coast, Midwest type of because we're definitely West Coast here.
Right. I live in Maryland. So I'm right in the eye of the storm. So literally. And I was in line of fire, and I'm glad I retired when I did, because I just retired from HHS after 34 years, and he got back in, and I had that YouTube channel. So that's the kind of story there. I wanted to get rid of it. I did not intend to retire. I wanted to continue to work for at least another year and a half, but he is back. So, and my entire office has been decimated as of last week, and so I'm glad I got out. So yes, HHS is Health and Human Services, the federal. So I worked in an optive underneath that. So, but if you watch my channel, you might be able to figure out which agency. I'm still I'm getting processed. I'm almost out. I mean, I'm out of the agency, but I'm being processed through OPM. So.
And Sheilah, what's the name of your channel?
Right now it's Medium Sheilah with was like Inquisitive Tarot underneath there. I'm still debating if I should go back to Inquisitive Tarot, but I am a medium, so it's kind of
okay. Because we definitely want if people are enjoying this to subscribe to Sheilah's channel there, and let's show her some love.
Right.
Oh yeah, I should get my little.
I'm not used to talking anymore, so it sounds like but I'm okay.
Gary, cover for me as I copy a link to the channel to put it up here.
Yeah, so yesterday was the hands-off rallies throughout the United States. I went to one that was local to me. It was in Redwood City, California. Dave, you went to San Francisco, I think.
That's correct.
You and Michelle. And this is my first rally, so I lost my virginity as far as protests and rallies go. And it was really interesting for me. I had never been to one before, and just the energy of the people there. I was taking, just sort of taking everything in. I didn't have a sign or anything. I was clapping and waving, and I walked. We had like 2.5, 3 blocks, solid people on both sides of the main thoroughfare, which was El Camino Real. And even in the median. So there's probably over 1,000 people there. And I even got my car and I drove the loop and honked and waved and cheered. And as I was leaving, coming home, I saw one guy about 2 blocks away with his Trump One flag. Oh. It's just like, there's always one. He had the good taste to not try and mix it up, because he was definitely outnumbered and outgunned. But we're in the Bay Area, and we have like over an 80% blue vote in these elections. So it's just, I just cannot understand the mindset that still thinks that Trump, his rhetoric and his way of doing things is in the best interest of this country.
Right. It is not.
Yeah, so. Trump supporters, and I watched somebody, it was had to be on TikTok. They're just in there for the fight. They're in there for the attention, the trolling, the arguing, the bickering. They're miserable and they want people to be miserable with them, which is why, that guy with the Trump flag would drive around flipping everybody off as he went by because, he's an alpha American dude or something. And all he is a sad, weak little incel.
Yeah.
Well, I have got a theory about a lot of this stuff, and I have to explain myself. I think I talked about it in one of my videos I just put up too. So, I think people get mad at me when I say this, but I was a moderate Republican until from 1984 to 2017.
Mm-hmm. You're describing him and me.
Okay.
Republicanism decades.
People get mad at me for that, but I was like, no, I wasn't really political, and I listened to both sides. I was never like this kind of stuff. But when I was looking at Facebook around 2016, I don't know if you guys are on Facebook, but remember those weird messages that they would put up like, oh, if you're offended by the flag and all this stuff.
Yes.
And I was thinking about I posted it once and it took me a minute and I was like, wait a minute. Who gets upset about the flag? Delete. And I was thinking, who they're targeting? The Republicans are the snowflakes. I was like, it is not the Democrats. Mm-hmm. Again, just think everything that they do, their whole shtick is like, what's the word?
Repressed victims.
I can't think of the word. But they.
Can you mime it?
I know it's crazy. This is so easy, but it's like they say it, but it's like every accusation is an admission.
Yeah, so exactly. Everything's confession, projection.
The Democrats, projection. Yes, that's the word. But that's the way that it is. It's like everything that they say, you just cannot believe anything, and projection exactly. So,
and I had a sort of similar story. A friend of mine who claims he's not MAGA, but he sure seems to support a lot of MAGA stuff. He would post stuff up like, it's like they're telling you not to support Christianity, post this up if you support Christianity, and it's like, dude, who's telling you that you can't be a Christian? It's right. Like he never stops to think who they is.
Yes.
It's just like, you're a Christian, you should do that, because literally, I said, stop getting your news from Facebook memes. It's leading you down a bad path. It still is.
Right.
Yeah, listen.
And they're all completely just, upset about everything. It's like, if you think about it, all the things that they're talking about, it's just, I don't hear anyone talking about it but them. So I don't know what that is.
I don't have pearls I can
do in your house or what you want to wear, or you have freedom of expression. First Amendment, you can do whatever you want. As long as you don't hurt somebody else, you're fine. It's like, it's not my business. What you want to do, your body is yours too. I just don't understand that kind of stuff. I'm not. And I'm a former Catholic. Well, I'm a Catholic, but not practicing. So, but it's not my business. It's between you and your God. It's nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody butt out. Mind your own business. Mind your business.
Tim Walz, Tim Walz in Minnesota. We have a saying in Minnesota: "Mind your own damn business."
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, so the impromptu theme on this one, I think we started down that path, and Sheilah has some of her signs that she's got ready to go for future protests. Michelle and I went to the San Francisco protest yesterday. Gary went to, you were down in Redwood City,
Redwood City.
And I just wanted to read on the energy of the protest. Okay. It just seemed like it was a good, solid foundation. A few million people getting out, vocalizing their frustration and distaste with what the government's doing, but in a legal, and mature way. There was, funny how nobody stormed the Capitol. No buildings were set on fire. No police officers were beat up. Nobody was maced or pepper sprayed.
I was trying to flip over several police cars, but I didn't have anyone helping me. I figured, my first protest, I may as well go for the gusto, right? Come on. Molotov cocktail, anybody?
Yeah, the concession stands. There was a concession stand on building your own sign. That was good. Nice to see some capitalism at the
yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Maybe you can open up a Molotov cocktail stand.
I was kind of hoping that, like in Life of Brian, where they have the stand where you could buy the stones.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
That's a quality stone there. Okay, we'll have 2 of the round ones and a packet of gravel.
Sheilah, do you want to lead us off with just the general energy around the protests? It's kind of, what are you getting from Spirit on how that ended up working out?
Okay, well, I've got to cool my energy down a little bit.
You're not wrong about winding it up.
Since I have done a collaboration, so I'm feeling rusty. So, all right, let's see.
Let's blow you up here.
All right, let's see about the energy. Oh, no, you don't have to do that. Now I can't see you.
We want to see your cards, though.
All right, I'll hold them up. I'm not going to bring it down because the camera will fall off, but no, I can't see you. Yeah,
that's way too much me.
Too much David.
Yeah, just leave it as it is. We don't have to do that. I'm not. Yeah. Let's see. All right, let's see. I need 5 cards. Okay. Like to pull 5. I'm not really doing, I don't have a lot of space to do the full reading over here, but I just like to do 5 and then maybe pull some clarifiers. All right, the energy around the protests. Well, it was definitely a wonderful, with the Page of Wands, a lot of really good information because everybody got to get together and you got to see there's different points of view that got together. It was like hands off everything. So that was really good. Very good messaging. Okay. I think the nation pretty much has been feeling left like out in the cold because this is not normal. We don't like to do this in America. What is happening? So it gave people, this is how people were feeling. That's kind of behind why we're there. Queen of Cups, though, and it's very emotional. Everybody's really like feeling the energy. We're getting together and, like as a collective, fighting back. So it's a good thing. It's good feelings now. So we're getting past this energy over here. And then with the Knight of Cups. So now we're learning. So when I see this card, it can be kind of an offer, it's kindness, but also there is that feeling with everyone getting together because this is what America really is, the kindness. So you see people with all their different points of view getting together and saying, no, we don't want this. We are resisting. We do not want it. Queen of Pentacles. So it helps our security in how we're going to feel in the country when we get ourselves back. We're going to get back there and it's going to get better. Yeah, one thing that's happened to me since I've been out of here, I feel like my readings are much quicker and faster. So we had the Magician. So this is a clarifier now. So we are manifesting change. We are collectively getting together. It's making a difference. We are getting our power together as a large group, or as Cliff Cash likes to say, we are the flood. So they like to flood us, but we really are the flood. We're getting it. We're going to make a big difference. We are going to have major success. It's action with the Ace of Wands. One more clarifier. I pull them off the top. So this is a temporary situation with the Eight of Swords. We're going to be able to get out of this. And I do believe that. I refuse to give up. And I keep saying on my channel, don't you give up. If we give up, we lose. So just don't. So temporary. So
She is. We'll know where to be found.
That's awesome. Any thoughts on that, Gary? Michelle's just coming in talking to the cats here.
So Sheilah, people really like your cards. What deck are you using?
This is the Groovy Tarot. I think it is. Oh no, this is not the Groovy Tarot. This is the Groovy Tarot. Okay. This one is the Trip and Wait. Trip and Wait by yeah.
It's the Trip and Wait. Yeah. It's also the hypnotic wait.
I have those too.
Dave's is the old weight, the well-worn weight.
Well loved. Yeah, I've probably done like 1,500 readings with this deck.
Well, I meant to pull this deck, but I get these two together and they're confusing. They're kind of like.
Oh no, you pulled the right deck. Those are outstanding cards.
Before we get too far into it, Mila, thank you very much for the contribution. Sorry, it's 3 a.m. where Mila is, and they have to get back to work. But
oh wow, thank you.
Just wanted to thank you. I'm sure you'll catch it on the replay when you watch it later.
Thanks, Mila.
Sheilah, does your reading kind of vibe with what you were seeing at the protests, or what you've heard from them, either like through Blue Sky or through people you've talked to?
Well, I haven't really talked to anyone who's been down there, but I did see the protests and I drove through it. Well, there was one in my town, which was wonderful. I never saw so many people out there, and they usually had small protests like every year, but this was something. And but I had to come in here and do a lot of videos that day yesterday, so that was my form of protest. But I intend to get out there. I do believe that everything that I've seen and I've been seeing around here, these are steaming up here. Yeah, I think it is really good. I really do believe that we're moving in a positive direction, and we've got to keep it going. We just have to keep getting out there, contact your representatives, do whatever you can do, or don't purchase things from, a store that might be supporting stuff we don't like.
After a very large river.
There's a lot of ways to fight back. So you do what you can. So,
hey, Gary, why don't you do a follow-up reading on that one?
The question I wanted to ask, Dave and I might do some follow-up readings on this and put it on the Twin channel. But I've had a couple of readings where, what are the signs that we're coming to the end of the Trump era? What should we be looking for? The first time I did it, the one that stuck in my head was Congress growing a spine. and I saw some signs yesterday that says Congress grow a spine, which kind of resonated with me, obviously. But I was going to just do a reading on, there was so much coverage of this. This actually made U.S. coverage finally. I don't know if it made it to the local networks, but someone was mentioning they were watching on PBS. For Congress to grow a spine, they have to realize that their jobs are at stake. That if you're on the wrong train, on the wrong track, and you want your little gravy train to continue, you may need to actually push back and change directions of your voting. And so I wanted to do a general reading on, was Congress paying attention, and is this going to have a positive effect on them? So I'm going to come on down here.
I agree.
Okay, so, all right, foundation of the reading, a Page of Cups. We've been supporting the crazy MAGA agenda because that's what Trump. What is it when you have 50% of the vote? A mandate. There was also a sign that said Trump didn't have a mandate. 49.7% or whatever it was is not a mandate. But they've been supporting the quote unquote Trump mandate. The challenge is the burden, the 10 of Wands, because there's so much crazy going on, and they've got to somehow try and make sense of this and get people on board the level of crazy. Underneath it, is Congress waking up? Underneath the energy is the 10 of Swords. We are coming to the end of the cycle. We've got 2 end cards here. The end of the, you got the burden. This is the end of the actions. It's the end of the cycle with the 10 of Swords. They're starting to see the end. In the past, we had the Knight of Cups. Basically Congress, or MAGA, if you will, just saying it's not going to be as bad as you think. This is okay. Everything's going to be fine. Stick around. In 500 years, we'll all laugh and say what a wonderful job we did. And how we made America great. Current energy is the Hierophant. Yeah, they're the government. They're the one that's supposed to be the legislative body making the rules. And right now we've had nothing but executive order after executive order that just simply bypasses Congress. This is your job, is to pass budgets and enact legislation. Overarching energy is the Five of Cups, not happy with how things are going. And I think after seeing several million people protesting, I think someone in the comments said it was 2% of the US population was out protesting. And you get people like me who've never, ever protested or attended any rallies ever are now attending. They've got to start realizing that people are not happy with this, and they're not happy. We're showing them that we're not happy. The lesson to be learned is justice. What is being done is not just. There are so many people being hurt needlessly. I don't think there's anyone in this country that would think that going through a big government agency, looking for inefficiency, looking for ways to improve things is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But when you just go in there, and I'm going to borrow Dave's analogy again, you pull the pin on a hand grenade, toss it in a room of people, let it explode, and then say, okay, surgery's done, go close up the patient. That's not how you perform surgery. Elon, that's not how you do it. It may work well for you at Tesla, but the government isn't Tesla. The outcome is the Eight of Wands. The message is coming out. Congress is starting to see the message. It was finally being broadcast. The big corporate media hasn't been showing these broadcasts. I've only been hearing about the protests from the international viewers in the comment section. But this was something that was brought out there. And it's finally, I think, causing Congress to sit up and take notice. So I think we're not there yet, but we've taken another step forward, is how I'm looking at this.
A big step.
Yeah. Congress reacts to threats to their ability to be reelected. Understanding it's both Republicans and Democrats. Right now, it's more the Republicans on display because they're the ones who try to identify a bone spur as a spine. But if right now, it's still safe for them to support Donald Trump. And as the protests start building more and more, and I do think they will build more and more so long as we continue to have regularly scheduled protests and people see them, it's like, wow, I want to be a part of that. I want to be on that next one that comes out. There's a point where congressmen cannot ignore it anymore.
Yeah. Because
they, maybe the Matt Gaetzes of the world, although he's not in Congress currently, but he makes a great example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the ones that are in heavily gerrymandered protected districts, they'll never change because there's no need to. They won't get elected if they change.
Yeah.
But for everybody else, it's going to make a difference. And for folks in the Senate, it's going to make a huge difference because you can't gerrymander the Senate. Yeah. You can voter suppress the Senate, but you can't gerrymander your way to it. And if you have so many people out there protesting, saying what is happening is not right, it's going to force congressmen to act because they will want to save themselves and their time in the food trough. It's terrible analogies, but sadly it's true.
I don't think you're making too much of a stretch, though.
Yeah. I want to throw just a quick four-carder. What type of energy is needed to keep the word resistance, just because I see it over Sheilah's shoulder, keep the resistance growing? Because ultimately, that's it. If the resistance becomes too much, they have to find a different path. If we have this one protest and that's it, they'll just say, okay, yeah, well, I didn't get a whole lot of money from people this month, but it'll be replaced next month.
Right. And I hope that they do it every month, because I think after that, I think they should at least have it once a month, the hands off, and continue it. and then have the other ones continuously. So
there was folks in the chat. Go ahead and repost it. Somebody did say I think it's every 2 weeks. I do believe. Who was it? It was
Mark Breezeboy.
He put it in.
Said April 19th.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, I'll even have a sign this time.
I think it was Robert. Was it Robert Reich? I think is that his name. He was talking about. I think April 19th was supposed to be, we don't want kings protest. It was like the 250th anniversary of like the Battle of Lexington and Concord, or something
that would
like
be
that.
A good one too.
And they wanted to sort of make it. It's just like the protest is not only hands off. But it's hands off. We don't want kings ruling this country.
No, we don't.
So. I do want to say, what is the energy, kind of spirit? Give us an idea of the energy that needs to continue building. Oh, wait, we're not doing the things down here. So let me, that actually, the first card that comes out is super duper awesome. The world card.
Yeah.
One of the things I was showing Michelle some of the comments from one of the videos I was watching. Or even it might have been one of my videos for that I had put up showing the San Francisco protest, but it was all the different countries saying we stand with you.
Yeah.
Germany, the Netherlands, France, Canada, Australia. Just and I think the person Journey said it was on television here. We were watching it. In the U.S. television, and for the folks who are international watching this, thank you for staying up or getting up early. U.S. news doesn't report on what the rest of the world is seeing or doing.
Nope.
It makes it they're isolating us from how the rest of the world is reacting, because the people that run the news are extremely wealthy men, and they got their guy in there. And they want to make their money with this guy, and they don't want the gravy train derailed yet.
Right.
So they will stifle the information. So seeing it come through in the comments is empowering. Center underneath it is the tower card here. The world is watching. The world is supporting. The world wants this to end as well. They see the stealing, the theft that's going on. People are not happy with the theft that's going on in this country, and that's what's going to bring this down. Ultimately, underneath it is what needs to bring this down is you can't just accept the fish in the cup is normal. You can't, it's not business as usual. This is not your father's Congress. This is not the Congress of the 70s or the 80s or even the 90s. It's become more and more polarized, and the only way they will do their job is if we force them to. And then we need to kick them out. Mm-hmm. And I say that for both the Democrats and the Republicans. For the corporate Dems who've been in there for 30 years or something like that, it's time to bring in fresh blood.
I know. Bye. Thank you.
You want AOC. You want Katie Porter. You want
Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Carl, God, she's such a queen. These are the people you want in there because they're young, they have a lot of energy, and they have a lot of fight in them, and they don't give a flying toss about how much money is being dumped into their pack.
Right.
This is not Senator Menendez with his gold coins in the back trunk of his car type of thing. These folks don't care about that. They're idealist. They have an ideal of what they want America to be. And so I'm saying with that energy, it's the U.S. uniting with the world, pushing back on this far-right agenda.
Exactly. Yeah, that's been my feeling too, from what you guys are saying. Oh.
Yay!
Okay, Gary, you know what that means.
Yes. Go get a beer and eat some
it's Patrick and beer time. I think there you go. You owe him a dance.
I actually have one over here, so.
A cat or a beer?
No. I was chilling and I was invited. So
nice.
Oh yeah. I was sharing that story. I never never really finished it. So Sheilah's at home minding her own business, and I emailed her and said,
That's
"Hey,
right.
we should get together for a live sometime." And she responded, said, "How about tonight? We'll do an
I
impromptu
did
one."
not say that. That was you.
And she was like,
A little revisionist history here.
No, I didn't say that. I said we should get together, but I didn't think tonight.
"Yeah," and I said, "Yeah,
Happy
let's
to.
do one tonight because Gary and I are incredibly impulsive. We'll do a live in
Oh
10
my
minutes."
God.
No, but I think this is a great, and I've wanted to meet Gary. I've met David, but I haven't met Gary. So it's
He's
like,
old news.
David is like that.
I'm the
No,
fresh
I'm
new
kidding.
shiny thing.
For those
Why not?
highly insulted
I
by that
wanted to
comment, I
meet
just
you.
put
Oh,
a link
I'm
to her channel in the
amazing.
thing. You can go subscribe to it, then go to her community
No.
page and
No, but
advocate for me.
I
and how
do need
wonderful.
to say something. I want everyone to really, and I am teasing about that. I want to really publicly thank David for his support, because after I deleted my channel, I sent out a message to a lot of the readers and I said, I've deleted my channel because I was working for the government when he came back in, and I was freaking out because I had a channel that was reading on him all the time. And the Heritage Foundation was hunting federal employees. Now, I never said that I worked for the government when I had my channel because I wasn't allowed to. So I always kind of skirted around it. I had to be careful. So I deleted that channel. So I got an email one day from David, and he was just kind of like, "Are you okay? And, how are you doing?" And he was just really lovely, and it was very kind, and I appreciated it. I heard from some people, and some people never said anything back to me. So I was kind of like, well, maybe they're busy. They don't, I don't know. But he was very, very kind, and I just really appreciate that. And he's supported me since I returned, and I also really appreciate that. So yes, I was teasing.
No, the outrage is real.
He's been
subscribe to her channel anyways, and leave all sorts of wonderful comments about how wonderful I am.
So
Yeah,
I need to
insult
clarify
me.
though, I retired from the government in February. I'm a retiree now. I'm free. The Hatch Act no longer applies to me. So I am here and I'm doing this. So outwardly. So here we go.
I gotta tell you, Sheila, you would be the envy of most of the members of David's family and my family. Yeah. Being in the retired status.
Well,
oh God.
I lost out a little bit too. I would have had a little bit more had I made my 35-year date, which would have been the 28th of this month. But my office where I was working got riffed. The entire office is gone, and we are not duplicative. We were the only ones who did what we did in our agency, and we were saving money on government contracts. We were IT. They killed the entire IT department from my operating division under HHS, and they're doing it all around. So basically they want HHS to crash. So you guys need, if you would like to have safe food, drugs, and medication and vaccines, call your representatives, because we're about to crash and they want to privatize it. So, so I'm upset because I left them all behind. And they got riffed, and they were all like, "Oh, let's have a retirement party." And I was like, "Absolutely not." And I couldn't say it. I knew we were going down. I just knew because I'm medium Sheilah. But I did know. I did. I was like, I have to get out. I felt like I was escaping from the mafia for like the first 2 months. I was like trying to get out without being seen. I was just like, I retire. So it was really, really something else. So
Sheila, since you are medium Sheila,
yes.
tell us a little bit about medium Sheila. What is this? Send 2 sardines to the penguin sheriff.
Well, okay. Well, that's a fair.
Thank you to Rose Blue.
Tell
Thank
us
you, Maria.
more about the
why am I a medium? Okay. Well, all my life, I think I have been very sensitive to things. I always felt people around me that I couldn't see for like a long time. I did see, I think I want to get totally into this because I've told this story before, but I think I saw my first ghost when I was 5. I lived in a haunted apartment in like the 90s, and you know, I was still working at my agency, and I thought people would think I was crazy, and I wasn't. I'm also clairaudient. I can hear. Actually, it's true. I can hear people who've passed. I have spirit that's been in the house before, and I've had actual conversations with. I'm like, it's outside of my head. My dad, when he passed away, the same night. I know David's heard this story, but you know, I went to turn off the light in my bedroom, and I heard "Don't forget" at the door. I was like, "Geez!" I'm like, he's actually here. So I've told my mother. I said, when you go, make sure you come by and say hi, because I will hear you. I'm like, you have to stop by. But it's no. I mean, it's a long conversation, and we don't have time for that. But yeah, I really am. And I used to do medium readings on my old channel, and I have to get my, you know, exercise my muscles again with that. I've been too wound up and everything going on and my job and, you know, escaping from. So I haven't been focusing on it as much, although I am aware of what's going on a little bit more in that realm. And I'm getting hits. And I had a hit the day that Butler happened. And I was at my mother's house, and I told her, my younger sister was there. I said, someone's going to try to get him. I'm going to be careful because we're on YouTube. And it's going to be somebody who followed him. And of course, I go home, and that afternoon, bam. And then another thing that happened to me that's not related to this, but I remember now, 1993, where I lived, I had an apartment that was by the train tracks, and I always felt like a month. It was really strong. It's like, there's going to be a train crash. So what happens? I went to dinner at my mom's after work. I came home, and there was a train crash right in front. I could see it from my balcony on the train tracks, and all the fire trucks are there and all this stuff. I was like, how did I know this? And that's before I accepted it. But I'm always able to do stuff like that. So it's hard to explain. But.
So now when you saw your first ghost, what did that look like to you?
Well, we were renting. Our new house was being built. And so we were moving from Pittsburgh to another town. And so we were renting this old house. And it had a garden in the back. And I was 5. I think I was 5. And I was just outside, and they had kind of like a garden greenhouse kind of thing, shed sort of thing in the back. And I could have sworn I saw a woman. It was just all white come out, and it was like it had paths like through the garden. It was this little old house. It wasn't fancy or anything. It was just an old house. And I saw her come out, and then she stopped at the end and vanished. And I told my sister, who's 2 years older, and today's her birthday, actually. And I went upstairs to where the room we stayed in, and I said, I think I saw a ghost. And she said, this house is haunted, just like that. And I said, no, it isn't. And she was like, yes, it is. So I think she saw something, but I mean, I don't know. That was my first one, but it was
you know, it's funny. In the house that Gary and I grew up in, there was definitely something up with that one, and Gary can vouch for this one. Like if we were leaving a room and we didn't turn out a light, this disembodied voice would boom from across the house. I don't own stock in PG&E. Turn off the damn light.
Really?
Yeah.
It sound mysteriously like our dad.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't dead at the moment, but it was definitely a disembodied voice.
Yes. Well, I've seen disembodied heads, so.
Yeah, you know, but in our house, we did have a couple of odd things happening. You know, like the back door would just fling open for no apparent reason.
It's very windy in our house.
Yeah. And when I was about 6 or 7, Dave and I we shared a room, and we had bunk beds. And I used to pretend that I could see kind of like the outline of a humanoid figure kind of peeking into our room. Mm-hmm. But it's you know, like what the color of smog is kind of that dark brownish color. It'd be like that kind of coloring.
You started seeing it.
But like the outline of someone. And at the time, it's like I wasn't scared of it, but I was just thinking, oh, I must be just imagining, you know, my imagination playing with me on that. As an adult, I look back and think, I wonder if it really was my imagination playing with me or not. I mean, I truly don't know.
I don't know. I think it's a possibility you did see something. And when we're younger, I think we're a little bit more accepting of it. But I could always sense someone around. I had this problem with this, I don't know, is he 18th century? I always say 17th, but he wasn't 1600s. He was more 1700s. And I finally saw him like during the whole, when I lived in a haunted apartment thing, when he finally showed himself to me and then never came back again. But I always sensed him. And I think from like, I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's very possible that you can see that. I think everyone has spiritual psychic abilities. Some people are more developed than others. And it took me a long time to, admit it to myself. But, it is what it is. But I don't wear it on my sleeve and, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it is accepted here.
Imposter syndrome. Are you familiar with the term?
Yes.
For the rest of the audience, imposter syndrome is you've got this feeling like people are going to find out about me. In an example, it would be like with your intuition, like when I'm reading cards. I don't feel psychic. I don't have voices telling me things. I don't see, I don't talk with my spirits in any way, shape, or form. Not like the Linda G's of this world or Kim from Intuit View or whoever.
Yeah,
they've got like that. They've got that super wonderful connection. So, it's like maybe to them it's a little reassurance that, hey, really, I'm telling you what I'm hearing. For Gary and me, it's kind of like we throw cards and we craft a story and we're using intuition to cover it.
Right.
But man, oh man, does it feel like imposter syndrome sometimes?
No, it doesn't. And I get that. And I also am not sitting here hearing from spirit guides. And you don't hear me saying that because that's not happening. I have my own intuition with stuff. When I do mediumship, I get images and I can get into the information that way. But I don't have somebody over here like telling me, oh, this is what's going on. I don't know what it sounds like for other people because I don't have that situation. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, my guides are telling me. And I'm like, well, okay. You can have your own intuition. I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's their spiritual experience. Everybody's different. So no judgment here. Please don't take it that I'm saying that. I have to be careful. I have a tendency to just say stuff and people are like, wait, you're saying this about me? No, I'm not. Okay. But I'm not doing that. But there's nothing wrong with it. And you're not an imposter. You can have your intuition and you can read the cards. These are a tool and they help us. You already have an intuition, all of us. But you guys are actively working with yours. So don't think that you're an imposter because you're not. And you do get information. It's just we get it in different ways. Some people have the spirit guides, and that's how they get it. Some people, and it's not that we don't. We might. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a possibility. I mean, I think I had some conversation with whispers years ago, but it's just different, and it doesn't make you not intuitive or not spiritual or not, whatever you want to call yourself, but it's like, it's just, you're for real. So don't feel like that. And I also have felt like that, but then I remember I've had all these things happen and stuff continues to happen and everything happens in everyone's life. Like you're living your life and you see things occur and something's going to happen or something. And everyone does that to some extent, but everyone just kind of discounts it. And like when my clairaudience would pick up, I used to always have these voices and sounds, like things would happen. I'd try to go to bed. I would hear doors slamming. I'm like, where's a door? I'm like, what's going on? And I thought I was losing my mind for a long time. Yeah. And I would hear this buzzing. It was like a zzz thing all the time. I couldn't figure that out. I'm like, what is going on? But that was also part of my clairaudience that was blowing up, and it's calmed down. And, sometimes I get things, but it's just, there's different abilities and different levels of those abilities. And not everyone is the same. So, because there's people that have, like, they are maybe talking directly to their spirit guides. I don't know. It's not my experience, so I can't speak to it. I have a different one. And, we just all have to understand that. And it's not judgment. And so, be happy with how you do it, and you may still grow. So, or you might change, and your abilities will get stronger for whatever that is going to be for you. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, I just feel like when people, or make some comment in the comments, it's basically, I don't have anything special ability. I'm looking at the cards and trying to draw, so sometimes something in the card will pull you in and you kind of go that direction. But I think we all have some sort of baseline ability to do this. It's just, do you want to develop it?
Right.
And then if you want to develop it, great, keep practicing. And if not, that's okay. We got channels to help you along, or feel free to throw cards and read along.
Well, exactly. But you're not an imposter. You guys are great. And
thanks.
You are. I've watched your videos, and I've been hanging around out there in the outside. But no, you guys are. No, you're wonderful. No, it's just that I'm tired, so I can't find my words. But no, you guys are wonderful, and don't ever feel like that. And everybody's different, so I think that's what makes it interesting, is the differences with everybody on the tarot tube.
Yeah, it's funny because Dave and I are we're identical twins, but we have very different personalities as far as how we conduct ourselves normally. We both have a sense of humor. We both watched a lot of the same programs growing up, so we could speak in references like nobody else
all day long.
But
we can have a conversation that nobody understands. It's like that Star Trek Next Generation episode.
But Dave, he's got a lot of the wand and sword energy, and I'm definitely more of a pentacle type of energy, I would say. Would you say that's fair, David?
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. So it's just so interesting. We just have a different approach to things.
The analogies I've used, and Michelle, I use this one with my wife. My second wife, and I and Gary all went to high school together.
Yeah.
And the analogy I use, it's like Gary and I are identical cars. It's the driver behind the car that's different. So, if you're cruising down the freeway, you see two Honda Civics driving down the road. It's like, oh, it's a white Honda Civic and a white Honda Civic. And it's actually a pretty neat analogy. We're all Honda Civics or Toyota Corollas, something like that, going down the road. It's when you finally get to your destination, you get out of your car, you realize there was a driver inside that car. We were never the car. We were the driver inside. And oftentimes when you pass people, you just see the car. You never actually look at the driver inside the car and the decisions
that is the difference, because I drive so damn slow. I never pass anybody. I just wave at them when they pass me.
Yeah, you get that. Hey, you! As they go by.
Oh, speed up.
Get in the right lane, you'll be fine.
Right.
We should do another. Let's throw some more cards. We've gone 48 minutes.
Let's do that.
What do you want to throw?
Griping about it. How is the world reacting to what they're seeing with these protests? There's a lot of support, but I think what I want to see is, there's elections coming up where the far right candidates are still viable candidates. And will these protests and people recognizing that we are not all lined up behind Trump, will this have an effect that will prevent future far right candidates from getting into power? Fair enough question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're all going to get hurt pretty soon with all this stuff going on. So it's going to work in our favor. But yeah, let's read on it.
Sheilah, we'll start with you.
Oh. One of you guys can start first. I'm still pulling here.
I'll start then.
Yeah, making the guests do all the work.
We're showcasing her.
That's right.
Foundation, the reading little 4-carder I get is the Queen of Swords. There's a kind of an understanding. The rest of the world has this understanding of they're not nothing is sugar coated to them. They're seeing what they're seeing, and they're seeing like a decline in the influence of the U.S. both domestically and internationally. What are they seeing? They're seeing the corruption, the ego, the corruption, the self-servingness of this country. The United States was a great country, but now there's kind of a new start coming in the world. Things are changing. The U.S. is underneath it. It's like, again, the U.S. has always been up here, and it's starting to come down, and it's creating an opportunity for other countries to step up and fill the gap, such that it's not the U.S. here and everybody else is down here. It's going to be something a lot more like that. It's not a hatred towards the U.S., but it's kind of there's like you're getting your comeuppance, and that's good. And from my point of view, the U.S. needs a comeuppance. I think we've gotten way too big for our britches, arrogant beyond all reasonableness, and we need just a good dose of humility so that we'll be a better neighbor to the rest of the world.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. I did pull everything now.
Yes.
Okay. So I've got the moon here coming in at the beginning here. So yeah, they're kind of looking at us going, what in the world is going on over there? Nobody understands this. This is like danger, psychic awareness, danger, this card. So yeah, they are looking at us and they don't know who we are. And we've lost our way. So they're not very confident in us. And as you said, I'm getting the same thing there. And they want this dude to go away. The emperor is reversed here. So nobody likes him. And I think that's self-explanatory in that direction. But I think they see us getting ourselves out of it. Although, yeah, I do the world too, watching us. This is going to take a little time, though. I want to make a caveat on this because we have to do some work to get this. And it's the people that are going to do it. And nobody's interested in dealing with us right now, as you're also seeing with the 4 of Cups. And, it's like they're disinterested in getting into a tit for tat with us. They're just trying to hold their own. They would like somebody better with the King of Cups over here for us, as we would. And right, but there's no cause for celebration at the moment. Wow, the lights in here, everything's like being wacky. Okay, 4 of Wands reversed. So the house is upside down because we have this dude. I'm surprised I didn't get the devil card in this one, but yeah. So it's just kind of, I have the same feels that you've got going on. So
okay, so
Gary.
For me, the foundation, I've got the 8 of Wands. They're seeing what's going on. It's the communications going out there. They're starting to see what's happening in the United States, the protests, and they're seeing the betrayal that the people in the United States are feeling. They see that right now the U.S. and Trump's policy is a kind of win at all costs type of policy. It's not a friendly or rational type of approach. It's if you win, I lose type of mentality. And they're just like, you know what? Maybe we can go find other people that we can interact with right now. And for me, it's the energy underneath is they're going to start forming relationships with their neighbors. So it was funny when Sheilah pulled it up as a reverse. Yeah. It's like I had it as my underneath energy, but it's more of a, you know what? We're just like what China, Japan, and South Korea are doing. They're forming their own little trade groups.
Yeah.
And being able to supply and sell to each other more freely, and that's what we're going to see. And so, Dave, when you were telling your story about the U.S. having a comeuppance, that got pointed out to me back in 2001, 2002, right after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ladies, I worked at United Airlines at the time, and one of the ladies that worked for me was from Malaysia and of Muslim faith. And she was saying that, not everyone likes the United States. And there were people that when that happened, they were cheering that someone finally fought back until they realized how many people were, what really happened.
Mhm.
They weren't cheering the deaths. They were cheering that something, finally somebody pushed back and wanted to sort of knock the U.S. down a peg, but they were mortified at what the cost was by that. And I remember that was such a revelation to me at the time, being a young Republican guy, and USA is always out there with the white hat. And obviously what had happened on 9/11 was tragic and all, but it was definitely eye-opening that that's how many people in the world perceive the United States, that we're not the guys in the white hats. And we have certainly proved that in the Trump administration. That's part of the reason why so many of us are embarrassed, is because we know we're not the good guys. We're the villains now.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
not a good feeling.
We really are now. That's the problem. And it's unrecognizable. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what's going to happen to the government. I'm absolutely terrified. But I mean, it's everything is upside down. This is an alternate reality than what should be happening. It really is. It does feel like that.
I think, though,
we are the bad guy. Yeah.
I think to build on that, though, it's one of the things that gives me encouragement with the comments that I've read regarding the protests. It's when I think the rest of the world sees millions of people, millions of American citizens going out and protesting, it gives them some hope that the United States really isn't like this.
Yeah.
This is not normal. This is not the new way of doing things, because if it was, people wouldn't be out there protesting. We'd be going about our lives doing our daily things. And
Right. And it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
And we can't give up, guys. Here's where I'm going to get going here. No, we cannot give up on America. We can't, you guys. We have to fight. We have to resist. We have to get out there. Whatever way you can do it, you need to do it. And I had to get these so I can go. But it is like, wherever you can, even if it's in your little town, or, don't give up. The minute you give up and we give in, it's over. Now, I know I was in the government and they were doing awful things to us, but I can tell you, everything I'm seeing with feds that are getting pushed out, everybody wants to continue to fight. They're still going to. And they're even saying, well, if we get brought back, and they will go back if they can, unless they've taken another job. But people are very concerned. Some people refuse to leave, and they're like, they have to drag me out, so I'm going to stay. And so they're fighting, but we also have to fight on the outside. Now I'm out here with you, and so I think I can fight better out here, actually, with everyone else. But we have to continue to stand up. We have to continue to bug everyone, and we need to really bug the Republicans. Okay, and we need to, of course, continue to bug the Democrats. But the Republicans need to get it. They need to hear it.
Yeah.
Go to a town hall. Go to your town hall, no matter who's hosting it, and just, do your best to be heard, or just be present.
Amen. Reverend.
I'm mulling a question I want to ask Sheilah. I don't know if she'll answer it or not.
Right.
You hear a lot about the deep state.
There's no such thing.
I understand.
No such thing. Drives me crazy. That would make my mother the deep state when she worked for NASA, and me at HHS, and my grandfather when he was in the electrical division at the patent office. No. And it's not run by the Illuminati. So just please, can we just stop?
Where I wanted to go with it is, do you see career and this
Okay.
might be from conversations you've had, knowledge of the system, so on and so forth. Do you see where career federal workers might be able to, sabotage is too strong a word, but they start slow walking things. They start following the rules to a T to try and resist and slow down the worst behaviors of this current government. In other words, it's not like federal government employees are just complying and falling on their swords.
Well,
Are they resisting in sort of passive aggressive manners, do you think?
I think, I mean, I can tell you when I was still there, I got that HR at opm.gov thing, and I immediately hit spam phishing on that. And everybody did. And they had to tell us, no, this is official. And I was like, no, it's not. I was like, no, it's not. That's not written by a government employee. Spam.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we were all doing it across the government. Everybody was spamming it and trying to stop it. But there are things you can do. I did see on Blue Sky, there was this book or whatever, I think it was Blue Sky, about, how to deal with fascism and stuff like that. And there is something that they say to do. I did read on Reddit it was a message about actually my former agency of 34 years. Doge was there, and they were trying to get access to something. And people were like in the Reddit thing, we're telling them, well, why don't you just like walk them all over the building and just keep walking in places, and like, we have to do it this way, and just keep like, I don't know if the person did it or not, but it was like a delay tactic they were suggesting. But I don't know, because I feel like, when people do it, they're just walking them out. They're just firing people. But it's kind of hard, because I think you kind of want to, if you're going to do it, you want to stay and you want to find a way to undermine it. But we're not used to doing that kind of stuff, because there's really not a deep state. Right. It's like, here's your job, do it. It's like,
exactly.
It's not, we don't have time. Where I worked in the IT department, I can't do anything to stop a president. It's like, I have to do my job. If I start doing that stuff, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering more if my thought on it would be, and I use this as an example, like you can imagine Kash Patel being in the head of the FBI. I want to see, a report on this, and they give them like binders, like stainless steel carts, 10 stainless steel carts loaded with binder. Here you go. Not sorted form, not tabulated form, not tell them where to go. Here's your data. Knock yourself out.
He wants to live in Vegas and be the FBI director. He's like, he doesn't even want to be in DC. So it's like working from home. So whatever. But no, I don't know. I think it's harder with this crew that they've got in, and it's like crazy RFK Jr., who I refused to work for. It was not going to happen. Amen. I got out just before he got in. So I was out a couple of days, and then when he got confirmed, I was like, thank God.
Is there anything you want to read on, Sheilah? Kind of in the theme of what we're doing here tonight with the protests and things along those lines.
I don't know. I'm pretty wound up, because this is the first time I've done a collaboration in about 2 years. So that's why my face is red.
And right now we have 477 viewers on here right now. So you're probably rather popular too.
I'll read on whatever. I don't know. Do they have something they'd like us to read on? Maybe.
Oh,
there you go. You want us to read on? Go ahead. Type it in the comment section. If you're in all caps, it's a little easier to see it. If you want to put emojis around it, that helps too. Like Water Lily put her 3 stars for entertainment purposes, only 3 stars.
Yeah, we all have white hair, so we need help. So,
I have a question that has nothing to do with reading. What was the best sign you saw at the protests you were at? Me? Yeah, either one. Anyway,
I didn't go, so I was at my mom's.
The best one, actually, the best one I saw was something that said the Third Reich, and it had pictures, and I think I have it on my my YouTube page, and a picture of like Elon, Putin, Trump, and Vance in sort of a variety of Nazi SS uniforms and such. And I only say that because they were really, really well done. It was very professionally made. Somebody had something, I think I stepped in Doge poop. and my favorite sign was up there was just a little handwritten sign that just says, even the Buddhists are angry.
Yeah.
when you've pissed off the Buddhists.
Yeah, exactly.
He's made. I mean, this time around, this guy has made enemies with everyone. It's like everyone, every country, every faction in America at this point, also including MAGAs. And there was something someone said on MSNBC this morning. I think it's important too, about how they were flooding the zone. But sometimes if they made a mistake and that they flooded the zone so much that they hit everyone.
Yeah.
The best sign I saw was on Blue Sky. It was someone had a sign that says, "Honk if you've never drunk texted war plans." And I thought that was brilliant.
I actually saw that one today.
Oh, did you?
I did. I
thought that was
the same person.
Brilliant.
There was George Conway had one. He actually got credits for it because he took the picture and posted it. They're eating the checks. They're eating the balances.
Well, I did see a video from that.
A real brief one. Elon Musk, how is he feeling right now? Is he afraid? And I don't mean like afraid for his life. I'm assuming they mean, to me, Elon Musk is afraid financially, but there could also be a legal component too. But financially, it's probably the short-term stuff for him.
Okay. Yeah, I cannot stand him right now. It's personal with me. So at this point, I'm like, I can't stand him. I have to get involved in the Tesla takedown too. One of these days. Yeah, there's a Tesla dealership that gets it every single weekend.
Thank you, Teresa Spriggs. Appreciate the donation.
All right, let's see.
Oh, thank you, Teresa.
Let's see, do I have anything else? In case we missed you, Rose Blue, thank you.
Thanks, Rose
Richard,
Blue.
thank you very much. And Rose Blue did it twice with her.
Yay! Oh, that flippers up. That's I'm looking for that T-shirt.
Oh God! Yeah, I know. As we insult penguins everywhere, right?
I know. Oh my God! All of that's so ridiculous. I can't even believe it. Let's talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. Why don't we? Which is Doge.
So I've got the foundation of how if Musk is fearful is right now. You got the Five of Pentacles. So for Musk, he's mystified. Why are people shunning me and sending me out in the cold? I'm just trying to do what's right. I've never hurt anybody. I'm just hard at work trying to save money for the government, but I'm doing it by, breaking down the government because it was, it's built on a bad foundation, and people should be celebrating this. I don't understand it. And people just need to sort of master their emotions on this. So to me, it's not that he's afraid. He just he can't process it. He doesn't have the mental horsepower to process this thing.
Ooh, okay. All right. So what I've got, well, here's a stupid fork in the road. Off. There's literally a flag in my front yard that says fork off. Okay. It's true. I actually do. All right. So yeah, he's like getting his comeuppance. Yeah, I do. I'm totally like all in on this right now. All right. So we have the 9 of Cups reversed. So his abundance isn't so abundant anymore. He's feeling the pain. Keep it up, folks, with the Tesla takedown. Oh yeah. He's a little worried. He's very upset that Tim Walz said that he puts his stock ticker up on his phone every morning so he can see it. It gets a good laugh, and it made Musk cry. Sorry, dude.
I did that too, actually.
I was trying to. I couldn't find my app on that. But yeah, the world is watching him, and they don't like him either. And because he's a liar with the Queen of Swords reversed, and I got the Ace of Swords reversed. So yeah, he's losing. If you're such a good businessman, why are you losing so much money? Not so much. He's too much like Trump. Yeah, now I'm calming down and getting mad. You mentioned him and I'll get mad. Oh yeah, one last card on that. This is how he's feeling. 3 of Swords. All right, good.
Yeah, he really is Donald Trump 2.0. He really is. And I've thrown this one out a couple of times, where Trump all through the 80s was claiming how wealthy he was just to get on the Forbes 500. Musk is at the top of the list. Donald Trump had, 5 kids by 3 different women? Musk, I don't even know how many kids he has by so many different women. Trump had all these businesses that have failed. Musk has had businesses that he took over that have succeeded, maybe despite Elon. And so it's kind of like, it's funny how Elon is everything Donald Trump has claimed he was.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can only imagine that Trump hates him.
The best slam I heard on Donald Trump's business acumen was, here's a man who couldn't sell steaks to a nation full of carnivores.
True. He burns his steaks too and puts ketchup on them. So.
Oh, was that a super sticker?
It was from Rose Blue. It's third time.
Rose Blue.
So Elon Musk, I'm getting the judgment card and the victory underneath it. I think from his, I get the judgment card. Center underneath it is the Fool, the New Journey. My card for Elon Musk, the 9 of Cups and the 5 of Swords. 2 things going on. He helped Trump win the election, and it gave him the ability to do something he's never done before, which is get retribution to all the government agencies that are trying to enforce regulations on him and show them who was going to win. Was it going to be him that was going to win over the government? Yes. And literally the hand grenades he's throwing in there, he never went after the Department of Defense. That's got the biggest budget. Why don't you go after them? No, he went after all the ones that are auditing the boring companies, SpaceX, Tesla, his business dealings.
No, they are. They're actually trying to pull the troops too. They want to cut 90K troops. And they're going through agency after agency. They haven't gotten there yet. They're going. They just destroyed HHS. So good luck with that. Careful going to the grocery store after this and buying food.
But in the follow-up, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. The follow-up is that
you were still going. I interrupted you.
No, okay. That's okay. This is how he went in, but now it's the other side of the coin. Now the judgment's coming in because he made too big of a show of himself. He made himself like Tesla. He made himself the face of Tesla, which means he gets all the accolades when things go well, but he's going to get all the blame and anger and hatred when things go poorly because there's nobody to blame. He's the face of it. It was a foolish ass move on his part. Here he is thinking, I can't do any wrong, but this is one of those things that he can't blame anybody else for this. He's going to put his tail between his legs, run back to Tesla and try and save his fortune. But the protesters aren't going to let Tesla, the board, or anybody forget what Elon is. And to me, Tesla is going to be very much a dead brand in the United States until they sever ties with them. And then they have to figure out some type of public relations campaign to distance themselves from him. If they get rid of Elon, the protests on the Tesla dealerships may die down, but people will never buy the Tesla cars because there's too many options now. You're not required to buy them. So I think it'll slow down Tesla's demise, but I see it as a dying company unless they can do something remarkable.
Yeah, that's a goodwill tour to end all goodwill tours. I mean, the one thing Tesla has is they have the best, most reliable, convenient charging networks.
Yeah.
And until someone can knock them off that pedestal, they'll remain. But if they get knocked off that pedestal, say bye-bye.
And by the way, thank you to Cindy Denny for your donation. One thing with I was just watching this video the other day. A few years ago, I was within a week or two of purchasing a Lucid Air sedan. This is a new EV company that's based in Newark, California, with manufacturing in Arizona. It was pretty much a Tesla rivaling company where the Lucid Air would be similar to a Model S, price-wise, performance-wise, but the car was way more luxurious. New car company. Peter Rawlinson, who was the former CEO, was the guy who developed the Model S. A lot of engineers and such came to Lucid from Tesla because they got tired of dealing with Elon. And so the engineers built a car that made engineers proud. The packaging of that car is amazing. It's enormous on the inside, but not enormous on the outside. It's really hard to explain until you've sat in one. They just came out with a vehicle, their first SUV called the Lucid Gravity. Deliveries happening at the end of the month. They're expensive. My apologies on that. But the thing with this new Lucid Gravity is that it's got a NACS charger. NACS stands for North American Charging System. It's what Tesla uses. You buy this vehicle, you can go to a Tesla charging station because Lucid has opened up a contract with Tesla to allow the Lucids to be charged at a Tesla charging station. So you can go to any of the Tesla superchargers and charge your Lucid there. They also give you an adapter so that if you go to the J27 plugs, which is what Electrify America, Ionic, and all EVgo, all these other fast charging systems have, you can plug it in there and DC fast charge using the other systems. So now the whole charging network opens up to you.
Yeah.
And I really see with Lucid, what I think it's going, or Lucid with Tesla, I think it's going to happen is selling cars is not going to be their thing. It's going to be their supercharger network. Is kind of
maybe battery development or something.
If they could license out their software, Tesla has the best software. They just flat out have the best software for driving their cars. It's not full self-drive, but their software is second to none with its quality and how quickly they can turn things around. But it's coming. The cars are starting to come out that can take advantage of the Tesla supercharging network, which it takes away the one advantage Tesla had with being able to sell their cars is you bought the supercharging network to go with it.
So what kind of questions do we get?
We got plenty here. Let's see. Hang on.
There's a lot of different EV cars that are out there now that are better. I think personally, no offense to anybody who has a Tesla, but I think they're ugly. Sorry. And the Cybertruck, oh my God, who glues the panels onto a car? All of them have been recalled. If you have to glue the panels onto your car, you probably want to buy something else, folks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So, all right. So, but I am sorry I interrupted you back there. I apologize for that.
A lot of people were asking about Stephen Lutnick and Stephen Miller. And I think mostly I would say Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite white supremacist in the White House. That guy. Sheilah's now cursing under her breath. Steve Miller.
No, my microphone makes that with the table. I'm getting a new microphone stand that's going to be on the floor. If I shuffle, it's really loud as I'm muting.
Okay. Let's read on the energy of Stephen Miller. He is of the ilk. He came in with he was an aide to Trump's first attorney general, the Keebler Elf dude, whose name I'm now forgetting. Thankfully that brain cell closes up a lot. He was a senator and he got chased out. Who didn't protect Trump enough. No,
the wrong guy.
I'll get it. But Stephen Miller is he's awful. I remember seeing a high school thing where he says, why should we throw our trash in the trash can? We got janitors to clean up after us. Why should we do their job for them? It's just this snotty, entitled, Stephen Miller, not a favorite of him.
He's so evil. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where these people come from? And how did what's his face find all of them? And they're all like
Jeff Sessions. That's who it was.
Oh, him. Oh,
yes.
Wasn't he like a lizard or something? Like I forget. We had a name for him back in this day.
Keebler Elf. He was always referred to as Keebler Elf because he was this little, short cheruby guy.
There was another.
Yeah, and Jessica Mason saying Google Goebbels and Stephen Miller pictures. I think even Melissa, the free ring psychic, did one and had the two of them overlapping each other.
Sorry, my chair squeaks.
Gary, you want to start? Yeah. So I just this like general knowledge. What do I need to know about Stephen Miller? So Foundation was the judgment card. He decided that it's time for Project 2025 and people to stand up and support this project. The main clarifier was the victory. So we got our boy in office, and we are now executing 2025. Our motto is win at all costs. That, this is kind of the interesting card to me, the King of Swords. It's the whole, we've got the mandate, we won, and we are going to do what we are going to do. Yeah. And right now, they're finding themselves on the defensive. Mm-hmm. That even though they think they got everything, everything's going their way, they're finding themselves having to defend their actions. Or he's having himself defending his action. I really know very little about the guy, so this is all just.
No, you pretty much nailed it.
Okay.
Yeah. In the Signal Gate, when they were, JD Vance was kind of starting to sort of like undermine Trump. I don't know if this is a good idea. Stephen Miller came in and said the president made it very clear that he wanted this to go forward. He was the one that came in and put his foot down on the throat of anybody who was even thinking that maybe this shouldn't happen. He's looking forward to blowing up brown people. I'm sure that puts a smile on his face and warms the cockle of his heart as he goes to bed at night.
Lovely man.
Yes.
Oh, you can go, Gary. I mean, David. I'm getting you guys mixed up already.
Oh, my mom does that all the time.
Yeah.
Whatever your name is.
Tell the audience what mom calls me when I'm at the house.
Well, she does it to both of us, but she starts saying Gary and then she says David, and it always comes out Gay David. Let's just say David isn't happy with me.
Yeah, well, Mom,
to the point where Gary's kids refer to me as Gay David.
That would be my last name over there.
David should go, since I accidentally interrupted him during his last one. So please go, and I'll wait.
Stephen Miller is,
he's a winner.
Right now, Gary, just then Gary was saying he's the victor, and he's working on the agenda. It's like, we've got it. We've got to do this. Center underneath it is the government. He's got a mandate. He's got a king, and he wants to force through everything he possibly can. Stephen Miller understands the clock is running out, and they need to sort of canonize their agenda as best they can, and then try and figure out a way to prevent it from being undone.
Right.
That's just sort of who he is. Over to Sheilah.
Okay. Well, I've got the 6 of Cups here, so they're kind of like, they're having a party, they're chilling. These cards are a little bit different, so I'm going to read them a little bit differently here. But they're having too much of a good time being up there in the White House, trying to direct the rest of our lives, and they're celebrating. And this card says, it's the 4 of Wands, and it basically says completion. So they're thinking,
all of us got that card.
Yeah, they're like, we've got Project 2025. We can lord over everyone else. So we can just chill out here with the High Priestess in the bathtub. We're just, doing our thing. We're fine. But ultimately, it's failure. This card is so dark you can't even see it.
I was going to say, that card looks black.
This is the 7 of Pentacles, believe it or not. Can't really see it. It's very dark. And the operative word on it is failure in this deck. This is the Urban Tarot. But I have the Ace of Swords, so they're still feeling like, we're doing really well. So from the deck of character, I pulled 3 cards as my clarifiers. They're just in an echo chamber with the stereo here. All of everything that they do is basically vomit. And and the world is watching, and nobody's buying what they're selling. So that's it. It's basically this. So
atrocious. This is not a high energy person.
Who?
No.
Stephen Miller.
No, but yeah, to your point, David, is that they are going to go on a speed run to implement as much of their agenda as they can. I think they understand what Trump's true health condition is, and they are going to speed run this as much as they can to enact as much as possible while he's still around.
Yeah.
I imagine there's a couple of Trump likes sharks. Well, other than he likes batteries even more than sharks apparently, but he likes the predator type personalities, and he fills his cabinet filled with those, and then he lets them shred each other while he sits back gleefully watching the carnage. Stephen Miller is going to be with a certain group of people, but I don't think he probably aligns with the Project 2025 folks.
Oh yeah.
But he may not align with like the traditional conservatives or the evangelicals. There's so many different factions in the Republican Party.
Well, he's not even a Republican, though. None of these people really are. I mean, think about it. They're all just crazy. It's not even what used to be the Republican Party doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, you're
and
right.
I was mad at them for 10 years before Trump happened. I was mad, and I wanted to jump ship for a while, and I should have.
Yeah, so. I was in the same boat as you. As the Tea Party was the bridge too far for me. Yeah. I liked McCain as a candidate, but as soon as they put what's her face in as vice president,
Sarah Palin.
Sarah Palin. It's like done. Okay, we're giving the Democrats a go, and I haven't voted for Republican since 2004. It's 20 years.
Their brand, they're just nasty, and I hated how they treated Obama. Though, I didn't agree with everything he did on policy, although now I do. But back then I didn't. But that was all it was with me, was policy. It wasn't, anything personal, because back then things were just like both parties were pretty much the same almost. I remember thinking how much they seemed alike, and I miss those days. And they're gone. But these people are not Republicans. That's what we were saying. They're crazy.
Over the years, my candidates for president have not always won, but not until recent history have I ever worried that our democracy is in the balance. I might not agree with your policy, but I never feared that we would lose our democracy. I have that fear now.
Yeah,
I have no illusions that Trump has got the best of the Constitution and democracy in his mind. That man wants to be a king, and he'll do whatever it takes.
Right, but we can't let him. And it is the people. It really is us who is going to stop him.
Yep.
And we have to stick together and stand up. And if this hands-off thing happens every 2 weeks, watch it get bigger, because I'm seeing every time there are protests, they get bigger. It's like when I go through the Tesla takedown, I have to drive through the street because they're like on both sides of the street. It's a big main road. It has done nothing but grow, except for this Saturday, because everybody was at the hands-off. So it was still going, but it wasn't as big.
Yeah. And
we had rain, but I think they were all the other one. But I've just watched it just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, I think the more people see it, the more they feel comfortable in joining and saying how they really feel. Yeah. So we have to keep it up.
We agree.
Thank you, Leanna.
Right there with you.
But it's just, we can't give up. And it's hard, and it's terrifying. And, I know my office, and we were all in the direct fire. I escaped, literally. But I felt like I was escaping from the mafia for 2 months. It was really scary. Didn't want anyone to know I was leaving. But now that I'm out here, I just have a different feeling. Like, it's easier to fight here, and there's more people, and we can do it together, and we have to stick together.
And the protests show you visibly that there's people on your side, and it looks like way more of us out there than there are guys driving around with their trucks, their lifted trucks, and Trump flags out the back.
Yeah, no.
It may be noisy, but we are numerous.
We are louder.
I want to make a comment. Jessica Mason put a comment about, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it the Dems that were racist and pro-slavery? Now it flipped. It's a great point. And
yes,
we have, yes, the short answer is yes. The Southern Democrat was the one that would have the Confederate flag and was pro-slavery and all that. And over the years, the parties have flip-flopped. I'm not exactly sure when it started. It might have started in the Depression, but it definitely accelerated through the 50s and 60s.
It was in the 1800s.
There was this absolutely amazing video that came out that the Republicans put out as a hit piece against the Democrats. And it's about the history of the parties and how the Republican Party was the ones that freed the slaves and were anti-slavery and yada, yada, yada. And it's everything that was said in the video was factual, but it was taken out of context. And why this video is great is because I watched a reaction video. I forget the name of the video. If I find it, I'll post it up on our community page. But it was a black gentleman that was watching the video who was I've seen his other reaction videos. He's very intelligent, very well versed in history. And he was like, yes, that's true. What she's saying is true. But then he would add the context that was missing. He goes, very shortly into, he goes, this feels like a Republican hit piece. And as he's watching more, he's like, okay, I see where this is going. And he would validate everything that they were saying, but then add the context. It's like, his point is, okay, but which political party would most likely have a Confederate flag hanging in the window now?
Yes.
and he points out, the party's flipped. But the Republicans, when they put it out, they don't expect MAGA to actually do any kind of research or critical thought on it, because it's just like when we were growing up, it wasn't a Democrat versus Republican conversation on the Civil War and the end of slavery. It was Northern states versus Southern states. And for MAGA, they don't recognize that they're being played.
Yep.
And so to Jessica's question is, yes, it was the Southern Democrats, but those people that made the Southern Democrats are now the core of the Republican Party.
Right. It did flip. It absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely did. So, yeah, I don't relate to them at all.
For the folks in the comments, I deleted TikTok, the guy who was basically calling Kamala Harris a drunk or something like that.
No, we don't need that.
He might still be watching, but
Harris a drunk. Well, I will just have a beer then for Kamala. So if you're still out there, go Kamala. You should be in the White House.
Yeah, cheers.
The same friend I was mentioning earlier that says he's not MAGA but supports MAGA a lot. I shared with him the Heather Cock Richardson discussion on that one, saying, dude, the party's flipped. Here's somebody who's a historian who this is her job. This is what she does. And he's like, well, I don't believe that. Well, that's great. I'm glad you don't believe that. You could choose not to believe that. You could choose that the sky is orange too if you want to, but that doesn't change the fact of the matter. Ultimately, and the proof, my argument to him was, it's the people that support the ideal. It doesn't matter what you call the political party. It's a group of people with the same ideals. And right now, the people who would want people enslaved in the 1850s right now want to put minorities back into the same situation they were in the early 19th century. And the real easy metric for it is, who's waving the Confederate flags now? What party are they under? The Democrats or the Republicans? And the minute you do that, they don't want to answer the question.
Right. I want to respond to this JB's question here about, do you see a faction of the military rising up against 47? You guys, we don't want that. We do not want the military doing something like this. We don't ever want that. We do not want to have a military state. We have law enforcement. That's a hard no. And that will be authoritarianism as well. And I remember talking to a friend of mine back when he was in the last time, and I told her too. I was like, no, we do not want that. That's why there was a problem when what's his face wanted military to go after the protesters in
the square.
In the square. And no, we don't want that ever. And that's what we're trying to prevent him from doing. And we don't want it to also be done with him. So, but
yeah, you want basically what you want the military to do is not obey an illegal order.
Right.
That's what you want. And if you know if the current administration regime wants you to open fire on peaceful protesters, the military's obligation is to resist and not obey that order because it's not lawful.
Right.
That doesn't mean, and the problem that you run into is that though the military is made up of people of varying ideologies, they've all sworn an oath to the Constitution, but some people may not be in their right minds because of being basically pulled into a cult.
Right. But we don't need them, doing law enforcement and going after 47 either. No, we don't need him in there. But this is not how we do it. And we do have law enforcement. We do have, there is Secret Service. There's Federal Protective Service. There's the FBI. God love them. I hope they could still hang in there. I don't know. There's other ways, but I think we have to see how this plays out. It's gonna get ugly before it gets better. And I have feels about things, but I can't say it on YouTube. So just leave it there.
Sheilah,
I can't say it. But
Sheilah just recently, yesterday, posted up a reading on Trump's health. And Gary and I have talked about it. It's like, I'm tired of doing Trump health readings because
I never do
them. Going back to something Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice said during the first term, it's like, y'all don't really want to know about his health. You want to know about his demise. And but Sheilah did a very interesting reading on Trump's health, and basically, I think one of the gists out of it is, if Trump has had health events, we know he's had health events. When he's drinking his water like this and slurring his words, the mini ischemic, basically mini strokes. But they'll keep it quiet because he's a dictator. And dictators can't show weakness in health because everybody comes in knives out and will eliminate that person so that they can take over. So he'll never let people know his ill health, which is why he has his doctors say he's the most healthy man ever. He'll live to be 200, that type of thing. And Rose Blue was saying he's dragging his leg.
I was seeing that, but yeah.
To me, the proof in the pudding. What did Donald Trump do this entire weekend? While the markets are crashing, he golfed. He golfed on Friday. He golfed on Saturday. He golfed on Sunday.
And he fake won.
Somebody pointed out, it was one of the things I was watching. He did nothing to reassure the markets. During the last 2 days of turmoil, he's done nothing to reassure the markets, which pretty much means Monday's probably going to be a bloodbath in the stock market.
Someone's been posting that the Asian markets are down 5 to 10%.
Yeah. So if Trump has a health event, they're not going to tell us about it.
No.
Yeah. But if he's not golfing on the weekend, because we're in April now, we're into spring, summer. That dude's going to be out golfing all the time. If he's suddenly not out golfing anymore, pay attention. Yeah. Because that could very well be an indication that he's had a health event, especially if he hasn't golfed in a couple of weeks.
I just remembered something about him and this term. They're trying to say that he's not going to be golfing as much, or he's going to be in. Well, that could just be whatever. But I don't know. They made a statement, and what you said is making me think about that for a minute, because they were saying that he may be at the White House more. So maybe there's something going on there. Maybe David's on something. Yeah.
I posted up on the community page that reaction video. I just put it in the chat too, if people are interested. This is the reaction video to the Democrats and the Republican parties basically flipping, the history behind the two parties. It's it's a very interesting watch when you guys have a chance, but not till after we're done.
Yeah.
No jumping away from the live stream. Copy it, put it in your memory, but you can watch it later. That's a later assignment.
Right.
Okay. It's late in Sheilah land.
Yes.
I was expecting this might go 1 hour, and we kept her for an hour and 40
Well, I don't
minutes.
have to work tomorrow, so.
Oh, I hate you.
I do have to take out the trash, but this is not. That's all I have to do tomorrow.
Okay, Kalki. Where is Kalki here? I was looking for the name Kalki. I wasn't finding it.
Oh.
Apparently, Kalki might not be posting up the most positive. Oh, here we go. I have 50 accounts. Oh, good. I'm glad you have 50 accounts. I will ban you too.
Keep going, Kalki.
Yeah, keep going. If you keep posting, that's fine. I'm glad you have 50 accounts. Keep posting up on all of them. Eventually, I'll get them all banned, and you have to keep creating more. And you're giving the deep state in TikTok and the oligarchs all your money by doing that. And I'm sure they're selling your information too. So keep going.
What were they saying? I wasn't seeing it.
I think this is the first person I banned for basically saying Kamala Harris was a drunk.
Right. Yeah. Whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going, Kalki.
Yep. Keep getting banned.
We got a big bag full of ban.
You know what I used to do when I was getting them, I would actually turn off the chat briefly. It doesn't kick everybody out, but it makes it so they can't chat back, and we just talk at them. So I used to do that. Oh yeah, there's ways to shut you up, even if temporarily. Unfortunately, it shuts everyone else down for a minute or two. And
it's not violating your First Amendment rights.
No,
in case you're wondering.
You can listen, and we can just ignore you. We love everyone else out there, but
nothing wrong with bringing up good counterpoints. But if you're just going to troll, you're going to get banned.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Anyways, right. Sheilah, thank you again for coming and joining us on such short notice. and thank you for the 500 plus people that joined us today to go through this. It was a good time with that. Any parting words for the audience?
Well, first, thank you very much for inviting me, and it's been fun. And I'm glad I got to meet Gary finally.
So. Yay!
Yes.
I just wish I was armed with a beer so I could have joined you.
No, you're fine. Well, I was already
right across the kitchen from you.
I know, but I needed my FaceTime on the screen.
No. Well, but parting words, I guess, for everyone else, and thank you. It's nice to meet everybody out there, and thanks for joining us here. But it was a lot of fun.
Let's all meet on Sheilah's channel.
Well, I don't have any subscribers right now.
I think you better take a look at that again.
Look, I'll take a look. I'm so small right now. I don't know what's happening. So let me take a look.
Thank you, Amy.
Oh, 294. Oh, yay. Almost. Thank you, everyone.
That pretty much doubles where she was just a few hours ago.
I know. That's awesome. I appreciate it because I'm just getting started again. So, and I tried to help out other people when I was growing a little bit back in the early days. I only got to like 2.6, so it wasn't that big, but I tried to help folks. So I definitely appreciate it when someone reaches out and tries to help me because now I need the help.
Right. Let's get into some of the other signs you've got back there.
Huh?
Share some of the other signs you've got back there. She's got a whole. She was showing me her signs earlier.
I have to hide my camera so I can get up and go in the hole.
That's because she's not wearing pants.
No. Oh dear! I thought I was the only one not wearing pants on this.
None of us are wearing pants.
No, I've been in like bike shorts for like the last 4 years. Okay, well I've got this one. Morons are governing America. And
I love
my favorite.
Are we great yet? Because I just feel embarrassed. And resist. And my garden flag is upside down over here because I know I can't do it in my neighborhood. Because who knows who's in my neighborhood? I have the fork off flag instead.
Thank you so much, MJ Beanie.
So what's next, Sheilah? What do you have? What are your plans for your channel going forward?
More videos. I haven't started any personal readings yet. I might open up private personal. I can't talk anymore. Private personal readings possibly later, but I'm not ready to go down that road yet, but I just want to get, I'll probably do a lot of the same stuff I did last time, probably a little bit more. I'm no longer calling it current events. Now it's political readings because I'm free, so I can do it. And I'll do some personal stuff, and I want to have guests on again, like I did before. I like collaborating. I just have to get used to it, and the back and forth. I have to learn, and I have to remember to pause and some things and I have to get back in the flow. So I'm doing things not the right way. I can tell there's some things I'm doing wrong. But this is good it's getting me to remember. So
what thumbnail did you use for the live, David? SJ Wonder says this live's thumbnail is truly frightening.
Oh, it's the picture of my T-shirt that Michelle gave me. It's the Venn diagram of all the dystopian books.
Oh yeah. That's you like using that one.
No, Animal Farm.
1984.
Soylent Green. Just in all the various things, and you're right in the middle of the whole thing. Who would have thought?
Only Real Take would like the link to Sheilah's website.
Oh God, I don't know if I think I posted up once or twice.
Yes, that's all right. We could do it again.
I think
so yes, copy that link, open up in a new tab or something like that.
Yeah, so let's get her to 1,000, and then she can rock it from there.
Yeah, I think if you click on me, you can get to my.
See that? Watch your videos. Very important.
Okay.
What's that?
And you have to watch your videos too. It's not just the subscribers. You got to watch it because she has to get some watch hours in there.
That's right.
I'll be putting some more things up. I was going to do something this morning on federal employees and what's going on at the agencies, and I was trying to show a document, and when I pulled it up, the document didn't come up. It was just me at the bottom. So I was like, I gotta take it down. So I have to try that one again. After that, I was like, forget
what's
it.
nice about Sheilah is she's got a real insider's view to what's going on with this whole Doge nonsense, right?
Now I can tell you.
So she could probably dispel some of the less than accurate things that are going out there, whether it's on the left or the right side of the political spectrum.
Right. Well, it's not even on the political, it's what's the government, I'm not even going to hit on that, but it's just, they're just lying about everything and claiming we didn't do anything and all this stuff. It was just awful, and they're just evil, and we're just like you. Well, I'm no longer, I'm retired, but I have to be, I don't want to get caught up in that, but no, I'm retired. I wouldn't be doing this as outwardly as I am right now. But it's just, we've been lied about forever. Everyone works hard. I've been through hell and back where I worked for 34 years. I worked so hard to get where I was. I finally got to a point, and I wanted to work one more year, and they're just harassing everyone to death. And they're, people have done such good work, and, we're just doing the job. We're not worrying about who's in the White House and what they're doing. We're just trying to, solve problems for the American people. We work for you, not, and it's just awful. And it's just all wrong. And I had a hard time when I was, not able to admit that I was a federal employee reading. I was just, I had a job, and I didn't want to tell you what I did, and I couldn't. And that was part of what I had to do. I wasn't allowed to in social media. And I would hear people reading on federal employees and stuff, or talking about it. And even the readers and some of the people in the chat would bash, and I would lose my mind, and it was hard. And it was just like, and I couldn't say. And I went into someone's chat once, and people were ragging on, some employees that whatever, and not having any understanding of what they're doing, and just being like, oh, they're corrupt. And I'm like, you're believing all this stuff. And I said, stop that, or whatever. And the people on the screen thought I meant them and yelled at me. And I think I lost them as friends, and I didn't do. And it wasn't understood. And I had just been out in the public someplace that night where somebody started throwing the Hatch Act at me. And I was freaking out because I was like, I'm not doing this and I canceled a show I was doing with somebody else every week. And it was just like, and I upset them. I didn't mean to, but it had nothing to do with them. But it was just, I was in a total freak out for like the last 4 years trying to do YouTube and being undercover, like not being able to tell you I was a Fed. But, and it's just been like a really crazy, and I just feel better now. I feel more like I can be more authentic and I can say, and I can dispel those things, which is what, you were talking about. And I just want to bring a better understanding to it, I think is where I want to come at it from. I don't want to be mad at people. I don't remember like everybody who ever said anything. I tried to put it out of my head because I don't want to hold on to that, because I couldn't say, what I needed to say. And so I can't really get mad at people for that when I couldn't come out and say I was a Fed. And so I couldn't, it's just different. So it's just, it will be different. And, I want to make it, I want to help people understand how it really is.
And Gary's about to touch on that. You've got this great perspective because you have been on the inside, and people don't know. It's just this big nebulous box. It's the big deep state, as it were. It's like, no, I could put a face to it. I can tell you what's going on in there. If you're curious and want to listen, I can share.
Right. And
Libby's in the chat.
Right. Hi, Libby. Yeah, I've worked in private industry too. So I want you to understand, I've worked in private industry. I worked for law firms. I worked as a victim advocate for the police, volunteer. And because I was also doing my federal job at the same time. But I had some private industry experience, but the only difference is that I had an oath to the Constitution in the federal one, and I still had to do my job just the same as the other stuff. I had more rules that applied to me as a Fed, and I really began to understand and take it very seriously. It is a little different than private industry on that. It's like,
yeah, I got a similar background. I was private for half my career and public the other half. And on the public side, it's not the policy of the board of directors. There's laws on what you have to do and how you have to do it. It's not, you don't have the leeway. You have to do this. The other thing I like to point out, and Dave's probably tired of me pointing this out, but Elon.
I haven't heard it.
Let
me mute him so he doesn't point it out. Here we go.
No, I haven't heard it.
But, what Elon had said was, no one elected these bureaucrats, and we need to get these bureaucrats out.
Irony.
What Elon is calling a bureaucrat is what I call a subject matter expert. These like Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, these are not easy to navigate systems. And you're getting rid of the people who know how to navigate this and get you through. And I think that's going to be a MAGA F around and find out moment when, it's going to take them months to do something that should have taken 20 minutes to an hour.
Oh, they're never going to be able to figure anything out. Oh, and that bureaucrat thing, it's like, to me, I'm like, it's a foreign concept to me, because it's like I was a person who had a job. I started off as a clerk typist. Okay. Then I was a secretary. Okay. Then I was a consumer safety technician. And then I was a computer specialist or computer assistant, computer specialist. I ended as an IT specialist. Okay. I was not a bureaucrat. I was doing a job.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, the only difference was all these laws, I had to follow. I managed contracts. I was a core 3, so I could manage tremendous size contracts, like huge.
The biggest contracts, the most beautiful contracts in the government.
Like the last one I had was 112 million. So, but it's like, well, that's but there's task orders. See, and they don't understand these contracts either. Doge. Right. And they're like saying, oh, we canceled this thing. Okay. No, you didn't. First, it was probably a BPA or an IDIQ. So you have a ceiling. They're just seeing the ceiling amount. This is not the task orders that are actually getting pulled out. So you might have like a, 500,000, or it could be a million or something, whatever, for that task order. So, and some of these things they've got, a year at the most, whatever, but they're just like, they're claiming all this stuff and they're not finding any fraud. They are the fraud, waste, and abuse.
Yeah.
And all the stuff they're doing, they're just breaking the government. They broke HHS. It's already done. So I don't know what to do. So I'm terrified. I'm worried about everything at this point. And it's like, yes, well, I don't have to worry about Hatchak because I am retired. I'm no longer a federal employee. I escaped on February 8th. So I felt like I was escaping from the mafia. Yeah. I'm not down. I was never a manager. I didn't want to be. I was like, hell no. I'm bargaining unit. I was in the union. So but I mean, and I knew, but the bosses were great too. We had great bosses. We had some that were terrible. I'm trying to watch what I say. And then there were some that were really good. And I had coworkers that were terrible. And I had great coworkers. And it's just people. It's like you get good eggs and bad eggs everywhere.
It's like, yeah, exactly.
I would be curious. That one of the comments over there was like Trump basically said all 5 million protesters or however many there were all paid actors. No. I hope that one of the protests that they have in the near future is the bankrupt George Soros protest.
Well, who is George Soros? I always hear about him. I'm like, who is he? I see Elon Musk. I don't see George Soros doing anything.
He's a Democratic donor, isn't he?
He's a billionaire that donates to Democratic causes. But I think it would be hilarious to have a sign that says we're here to bankrupt George Soros because we're all paid actors.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Have 20 million people show up holding bankrupt George Soros signs because he owes all of us $50. No, eventually we're going to run the guy out of money.
Yeah, I think we're bankrupting Elon, so I think that's a good one. Yeah. Elon Musk has got to get, because he's going down fast. De-billionaire the billionaires, guys.
Yeah.
Get up.
Okay. Now, again, let's wrap this one up. Sheilah, I've got your channel in the chat.
Yeah.
If for the folks in the chat, if you haven't already, go over, copy and paste that one into your tab. You can open up a new tab so you can keep this one open. Check out Sheilah's channel. Give her a subscription. They're free. Check out her videos. Again, she just did a Trump health one, which I found very fascinating, even though I don't want to read on him anymore. It doesn't mean that there aren't some good ones out there. And thank you again for joining us on such short notice. It's a lot of fun. Gary, anything you want to throw out there before we close it out?
Yes. So one of the things we like to do is give out secret cards. I guess it's really the surprise.
It's one thing Gary likes to do.
Yes. So just for Medium Sheilah, your secret card is the Strength card. Go out there, tell your truth, and be strong.
Actually, I think it's her trying to get a word in edgewise between the two Leo lions on this.
Taming the twins.
Yeah. Okay, you two knuckleheads. Okay, here's your ADHD meds. Calm down.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Sheilah, again, thank you. Everyone, thank you for joining us in the chat. Really do appreciate it. Thank you again to all the folks who threw out super stickers and super chats. We really do appreciate the donations.
Thank you so much.
And again, the secret card is the Seven of Wands. Like the current president said, fight, fight, fight.
It's our turn.
Fight, and fight some more. We will win this because we're on the right side of history.
Absolutely.
Okay, everyone, take care. We'll catch you on the next video.
Bye,
everybody.